you can see how dangerous it can be to get into an emotional frenzy where this frenzy leads you to act with very little consideration of the consequences of your action. They just saw what they thought was a wonderful strategic opportunity, and they acted on it without deliberate thinking about strategy or consequences or any such thing. And the result will be their own doom. And you can see something of a parallel to this with the people in Jesus's day, where they said, "Blessed, Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." They were also being delivered up to their own doom, because several days later they would say, "Crucify him, crucify him, crucify him." And so these emotional frenzies are moments where you need to try, though it is very difficult in fallen human nature, to, if you can't take control of the emotions through the power of God, then at least kind of quarantine your behavior in a sense, so that you don't do anything stupid and self-destructive. The ultimate form of this, of course, being drunkenness or any sort of high like that, where a chapter in Isaiah lays out just how the loss of inhibition can lead to destructive behavior. This is not to say that drinking alcohol is wrong, or the issue of drugs is a very complicated one, but the loss of control definitely is sinful and definitely leads to destruction if done consistently, and leads people to do very stupid things oftentimes. So in verses 17 and 18, in verse 17, "Not a man was left in Ai or Bethel who did not go out after Israel. They left the city open and pursued Israel." It's important to not over-allegorize, but this kind of does remind one of the Battle of Armageddon, the way that that was the reverse, where they were gathered into one place rather than out of a place. But the gathering principle is still the same. And in a way, there's kind of an ironic sort of bookending to verse 14, where here the people are, there they went out, here they go down. It's that parallelism that I mentioned in a previous video again. And you can see that you're setting up for a very sudden and final conclusion. And this reminds us of a story I've brought up many times about the man and his barns, where he stores up treasure just as these people built their city, and then all of a sudden, one night God comes and says, "Fool, this night your life will be demanded of you. And then will be all these things that you have built up for yourself." And Jesus also says that in the last hour of our normal course of history, they will be marrying and giving in marriage until the Son of Man comes, and then they'll be swept away like the people in Noah's day were. Footnote, that is actually a indicator that Genesis is real, literal history, because Jesus would not have been making a point based on an allegory. It would have no force if these events had not really occurred. So anyways, what does it look like to rush towards destruction? It is very sudden. It is very rapid. It is a frenzy. And if you are in a position outside of Christ, then you're rushing towards destruction, whether you're slow walking or fast walking. And I would encourage you to consider the gospel carefully. And as a believer, just be careful to not say to Jesus one moment, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord," and the next moment, metaphorically, "Crucify him. Forget you, God. Forget what you've done for me. Forget your rules." And so until next time, this is Eric Slawick, the UWM Penn guy, and this has been the Bible Commentary.